It is the summer of 1920. You are 38 years old, standing in the marble lobby of the Niles building in Boston. Outside, a massive crowd is pressing against the plate glass windows, watching your clerks count stacks of cash that belong to them. You smile like a man who has already won. You are Carlo Ponzi, and for one dazzling year, you are the most beloved financial genius in America. But before the marble lobby and the millions in cash, you are just a ghost with empty pockets. You are born in a quiet town in northern Italy. The year is 1882. Your family was wealthy once, but the money is gone, leaving only the arrogance of a good name. You are supposed to study at the University of Rome, but you spend your tuition in cafes and taverns, drinking and gambling, with young aristocrats pretending you still belong to a world that has already left you behind. You realize Italy has nothing left for you. You board the SS Vancouver, bound for America. You arrive in Boston in 1903. You have $2.50 in your pocket. You gambled the rest away during the ocean crossing. You do not speak English. You do not have a trade. You just have a smile and a suit that is getting shiny at the elbows. Boston does not welcome you. It is a city of cold stone and old money. A city that looks at Italian immigrants and sees only cheap labor. You wash dishes in a restaurant, sleeping on the floor, smelling like stale grease and rotting onions. You mop floors, you paint signs, you move from city to city, a ghost looking for a host. You go to Montreal, you get a job as a bank teller at Banco Zarossi, a bank for Italian immigrants. You watch the owner, Luigi Zarossi, pay 6% interest when every other bank pays 2%. You ask him how he does it. He smiles and shows you the books. He is not investing the money, he is taking the deposits from new immigrants to pay the interest to the old ones. It is a revelation. You learn how money moves. You learn that people do not care where the profit comes from, as long as it arrives. Zarossi flees to Mexico with the cash. The bank collapses. You are broke again. You forge a check, you get caught. You spend 3 years in a Canadian prison. You get out, you try to smuggle Italian immigrants across the US border, you get caught again. You spend 2 years in a federal penitentiary in Atlanta. You are surrounded by thieves and mobsters and Wall Street swindlers. You realize the law is just a suggestion written by men with more money than you. You learn that the only difference between a criminal and a banker is the quality of the suit. You come back to Boston. It is 1919. You are 36 years old. You are nobody. A middle-aged ex-convict with a receding hairline and empty pockets. You want to be somebody. You are tired of the hustle, tired of the cold, tired of being invisible. You open a small export business in a tiny office on School Street. It fails. Nobody wants what you are selling. You are staring at the wall, waiting for the rent collector. When a letter arrives from a company in Spain, inside the envelope is a little piece of paper, an international reply coupon, an IRC. It is a system created by the Global Postal Service, so someone in Spain can prepay the postage for your reply. You hold the coupon in your hands. You look at the financial newspapers. The First World War has wrecked European currencies. The Italian lira, the French franc, the Spanish peseta. They are worthless against the American dollar. The Spanish coupon costs a fraction of an American cent to buy in Madrid, but you can exchange it in a Boston post office for an American stamp worth 5 cents. You do the math in your head. You do it again. Your hands start to shake. It is an arbitrage opportunity, a legal loophole created by the collapse of global empires. You can buy coupons in Europe, ship them to America, exchange them for stamps. Sell the stamps and make a 400% profit. It is brilliant. It is foolproof. It is the key to the kingdom. You borrow a few dollars, you send it to relatives in Italy and tell them to buy coupons. The coupons arrive, you take them to the post office. The clerk looks at you like you are insane. They do not have enough cash. They do not have a system to handle thousands of coupons. The red tape is impossible. The overhead of shipping and exchanging eats all the profit. The brilliant idea does not work. The loophole is practically useless, but you do not tell anyone that. You start a company, the Securities Exchange Company. A name that sounds like a bank, sounds like authority, sounds like old money. You do not have an office. You have a desk in a hallway. You do not have coupons. You have a pitch. You tell a few friends about the loophole. You tell them it is a secret. You tell them if they give you money, you will double it in 90 days. 50% return in 45 days. No bank in the world pays that. A friend gives you $100. 45 days later, you give him $150. Where did the 50 come from? It did not come from coupons. It came from the second friend who gave you money. You just took Peter's money and gave it to Paul. You are not an investor. You are an illusionist. The first friend is so happy, he gives you the $150 back, plus another $100. He tells his brother tells his cousin. Suddenly, there is a line outside your office door. Ordinary people, factory workers, widows, policemen, teachers. They are bringing you their life savings, crumpled bills pulled from under mattresses. They do not understand international postal reply coupons. They just understand that their neighbor gave you $10 and got 15 back. The math does not matter, only the money matters. It is 1920. The madness begins. You hire clerks, you rent a bigger office, the line stretches around the block. People are waiting in the freezing rain to give you their paychecks. You are taking in $1 million a week. $1 million a week in cash. Your office is drowning in paper. The desk drawers are overflowing with bills. The wastebaskets are stuffed with greenbacks. Your clerks are shoveling money into closets because there is no time to deposit it. The smell of cheap ink and dirty paper fills the room. People are mortgaging their houses, giving you the cash. You are a legend. You buy a mansion in Lexington with air conditioning and a heated pool. You buy a custom locomobile automobile. You walk down the street and people cheer for you. They call you the greatest Italian since Columbus. You are an immigrant dishwasher who beat the Boston Brahmins at their own game. The bankers are furious. The politicians are terrified. You are making them look like fools. They call you a menace, but they cannot stop you because your investors will riot if they shut you down. But you cannot sleep. Your mind is a terrifying calculator ticking constantly. Every 45 days, the debt multiplies. If you took in $1 million today, you owe $1.5 million next month. There are not enough postal coupons in the entire world to cover a fraction of the money you owe. There are only $27,000 worth of coupons in existence, and you owe $15 million. You stopped even pretending to buy coupons months ago. You are just a shark that has to keep swimming or die. The pressure in your chest is unbearable. You hire a publicist. You buy a controlling interest in a bank. You try to legitimize the illusion. You think if you get big enough, you can invest the cash in real businesses and make the money real before anyone notices. You start buying real estate. You buy macaroni companies. You try to turn the fake money into hard assets. But the math is moving too fast. You need millions every week just to pay the interest. You are a prisoner of your own success, trapped inside a machine you built that is spinning out of control. The Boston Post newspaper starts asking questions. They hire financial experts to look at the math. The experts say it is impossible to move that many coupons without fleets of ships. The Post publishes a front-page story exposing the lie. Your publicist realizes you are a fraud and turns against you, giving his records to the press. The federal investigators arrive. The state investigators arrive. The panic begins. The line outside your office changes from people waiting to give you money to people screaming to get their money back. A mob forms outside the Securities Exchange Company. They are banging on the doors. They want your blood. You stand on the steps of your office, smoking a cigarette, smiling your charming smile, handing out cash from a leather satchel, acting like everything is fine. You serve them coffee and donuts. You pay out $2 million in 3 days, trying to stop the bleeding, trying to project strength. You look them in the eyes and tell them their money is safe. The sheer force of your confidence calms them down. Some of them even leave their money in. But the math is a relentless executioner. A state audit reveals you owe millions and you have absolutely nothing. The company collapses. The state arrests you. The federal government arrests you. The crowd that cheered you a week ago now wants to tear you apart. Your empire turns to ash. Your wife leaves you. You go to federal prison for mail fraud. You get out. The state of Massachusetts is waiting at the gate. They put you on trial for larceny. You go to state prison. You get out. You are deported back to Italy. An old man with nothing. You spend your final years in Brazil, working as a translator for an airline, living in a cheap boarding house, losing your eyesight. You die in a charity hospital in Rio de Janeiro, blind and penniless, leaving exactly enough money to pay for a third-class funeral. The millions are gone. The mansion is gone. The bespoke suits are gone. The adoration is gone. That's a wrap. The story you just heard sounds like a movie, but it is history. The arbitrage was real. The loophole was real. The millions in cash stuffed in wastebaskets were real. The scheme collapsed, but the name lived forever. The machine takes everything, but it can't take the legend. Your name became a noun, a warning, a definition of human greed. If this one made you think, drop a comment with your biggest takeaway. More deep dives coming. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. See you in the next.